We'll start with the prayers. Om Turiya Deva Adram Pashe Makshadirya Stirairangaihi Sushtovagam Sashtanubihi Vyashema Devahi Tamyadayu Swastina Indro Pritashava Swastina Pusha Vishvaveda Swastina Stam Shorarishtanihi Swastino Behaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad, the second chapter with Shankaracharya Bhashya. The second chapter is called as Vaidhatya Prakaranam. And in this chapter, what Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya, they are trying to explain the nature of the universe. The seventh mantra of the Upanishad said, Prapancha Upashamam. What is the meaning of Prapancha Upashamam? It means that the world which is experienced by us can be negated. It is Vadaha. When you say negated, what do you mean? In the sleep state, this world which we experience is not there. In the dream state, this world of Jagrat Avastha is not there. So what the Upanishad is trying to tell us is, what exists is, in three periods of time, is the observer consciousness principle. The observer doesn't change at all. He observes whatever the world is available. In front of the observer, Jagrat comes, Swapna comes, Sushupti comes. We have finished 7 mantras. Today we will start the 8th Karika. This Karika explains the uniqueness of the objects which we perceive in both Jagrat and Swapna. Let's try to understand. Let's hear the chanting of Vijaya, who chanted so beautifully all these mantras.
Apurvam sthani dharmo hi Apurvam sthani dharmo hi Yatha swarga nivasinam Yatha swarga nivasinam Tanayam prekshate gatva Tanayam prekshate gatva Yathaiveha sushikshitaha Yathaiveha sushikshitaha.
His contention was that in Swapna we experience some unique objects. For the Swapna is also real, the waking state is also real, according to the Bhashya. How does Shankaracharya refute this? Now, what he says is that objects can be ordinary objects or extraordinary objects, but the condition of Drishyatvam is common to both Swapna and Jagrat. And the observer is a changeless observer, which is what I am, the consciousness principle. So that is what Shankaracharya will explain. This is Gaudapadacharya's words here. And we will see the mantra of Shankaracharya's commentary. This is Shankaracharya's commentary. And the explanation of that is Gaudapadacharya is refuting the objection of a Purvapakshi. But he's not a serious Purvapakshi because his reasoning is very, very silly. The Purvapakshi says that dream world is real. Previously, he had said that the waking state objects have no purpose in the dream state, and the objects are associated with beginning and end. Therefore, Shankaracharya says that the dream as well as waking both are unreal. In the seventh mantra, Shankaracharya's refutation was that in both the states, the objects don't have a beginning, they don't have an end. Hence, it is an illusion. Here in this mantra, number 8, the Purvapakshi is saying the dream world is real. Why is it real? Because we experience extraordinary objects which are different from the Jagrat. The dream is based on the vasanas of the Jagrat Prapancha. Fresh, new, real objects are experienced. That is what is our contention. What Shankara says is, the objects can be ordinary, purvam, or extraordinary, purvam. But are they objects of experience or not? This is how the argument goes with the Purvapakshi. So the simple condition is Drishyatvam. You are seeing the world, whether it is dream or whether it is waking, you are seeing the world. And if you are seeing the world, it is anatta. And it is mithya, it is drishyatva, anitya. So try to understand these two words, very, very important throughout the second chapter, drishyatva and anityatva. Then what Shankaracharya says, another very important point. The objects which we see in the dream do not have an independent existence without the universal experiencer, observer, which is Turiyam. Na swata siddha drashtuhu swapna. Who provides the light in the dream? Is there any external light? It is the light of consciousness. That light of consciousness is the observer, the spiritual light. The Swapna world is not experienced independently. The same thing happens in Jagrat also. That is an extension which Shankaracharya will say. What is this nature of the experiencer, observer, which is called as Turiyam? The Turiyam is a universal Sakshi. It is the observer of all the bodies. It is the observer in your body, it is the observer in my body. It observes all the bodies in the universe, and it is also present inside the body. You see, the step-by-step reasoning of the Shruti is extremely important. This observer lends existence to the three prapanchas. So we have to, when we are in the waking state, we should try to discriminate. There are two things. One is the observer principle, which is the Sakshi or the Turiya. The second is the word. The Sakshi is giving existence to the world. Without the Sakshi, there is no world. This is a point which is given by the Shruti. The Veda tells us that world doesn't have an independent existence. Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 3rd verse. Very, very important verse which Shankaracharya quotes very, very often. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. One of the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. What is the meaning of this verse? The Lord says, I am the knower of the field in all fields, whether it is Swapna or whether it is Jagrat. Who is the knower? Turiya. Turiya is what? Paramatma himself. That Paramatma has got Nirguna Tattvam, which is Turiya. That Paramatma is got has got a Maya Shakti. When we refer to the Maya Shakti, it is called as Ishvara. The knowledge of the field as well as the knower of the field is considered to be my knowledge. See, he says everything in the universe is me. I am the knower, I am the known, and I am the knowledge. Because everything goes back and resolves in the knower consciousness. This type of understanding of Turiyam is important for us to understand what is moksha. See, all the Upanishads are trying to explain to us the nature of moksha. Moksha means it is ever free from the universe. But how do I understand that moksha? This is the way to understand. Consciousness of Turiyam, it can exist independently. Without the world, it is our anubhava. Our anubhava is, I exist independently in the sleep state. There is no world. That is what is called as consciousness. It is called as Turiya. And that is what is called as observer drik. What is drishyam? Drishyam is the world. Normally, what do we take? I, the body, am the drik. I am the seer of the world. But that is at a junior level. The moment you come to when you come to the Veda will correct this vision. The body is not the seer, but it is the consciousness in the body, which is the observer, and that consciousness has an independent existence. The world doesn't have an independent existence. We always see the world when I am lending the consciousness or the existence sub principle to the world. Because the world doesn't have an independent existence, we say it is Mithya. Mithya means it is available for experience. For each loka, the jiva takes appropriate stula sharira. And then it experiences the loka. The objects are different. The bhuloka, that means in our the world in which we are in, the objects are different. You go to Swarga when you have done the Kathopanishad. Yamadharmaraja gives explanation of the Swarga the chariots in Swarga, the dancers, the music in Swarga, different. You need a different sthula sharira to experience that. Even in our own case, let us take, suppose we go to Africa, or we go to South America, or to Japan, or Middle East. The cultures are different. There is variety in the world because of Maya Shakti. So this cultural difference is the reason for experiencing apurvata. Therefore, apurvata is not the reasoning or negating mithya. For example, you go to some countries, there people will kiss on the left side, right side, or hug while greeting another person. This is according to culture. So what we have to understand is the waking world and the dream world are both drishyam. Gaudapada's Charya's example is, what he says is that there could be extraordinary objects. For example, if for a person living in New York, a lady from South India wearing a 9-yard sari will be a very extraordinary object for the person. So the objects and the are not the reason for saying that the world is not real. It is the ultimate message in this mantra. So Swapna being the field where we get extraordinary experience is a wrong example according to Gaudapadacharya. It is a wrong drishta. Next, so this is the end of the 8th mantra. The next mantra, we are going to talk about the similarities of the Swapna and the Jagrat. The Shankaracharya writes an introduction to the 9th mantra. So here, what he says is, if a person is well informed, then he will not have this problem of purvata. In dream or in waking, he will never say that if the objects are extraordinary. The only thing is, objects experience could be extraordinary, but there are still objects. Jagrat and Swapna are similar. Sushupti, one who learns, one who is a well-informed person, he will not feel it is an extraordinary experience. Between the dream and waking, we conclude there is unreality in both the cases. Both are objective experiences, both are drishyam. Therefore, it is that is our contention. Let us now listen to the 9th mantra.
Swapna vrittavapi tvantah Swapna vrittavapi tvantah Chetasa kalpitam tvasat Chetasa kalpitam tvasat Bahishcheto grihitam sat Bahishcheto grihitam sat Drishtam vai tatyametayoh Drishtam vai tatyametayoh.
So here, Shankaracharya or Gaudapadacharya makes a similarity between dream and waking. What is the similarity? In the dream also, there are certain things which are projected by the mind, which I am seeing it as outside in the dream. And in the dream itself, there are certain things which are experienced within the mind, which is the emotions. Anything which is experienced outside the mind, we say it is real. But what is important? What is the fact? The fact is whether you experience inside or outside, in the dream or in waking, all are Mithya. That is the message in this note. We have to be very, very imaginative, understand this ninth Karika and the 10th one. Our mind has to understand what really happens in dream, what is really happening in the waking state. In both of them, there is inside and outside. But for a dreamer, in dream, everything looks real. That is the baseline argument for Shankaracharya and Gaudama. Baseline. The argument will come in almost every verse. So, if you are experiencing something in a dream, it could be objective or it could be subjective. Similarly, suppose you are experiencing a rope, but then instead of rope, you take it as a snake. So inside your experience it is a snake. Outside you are seeing a rope. So objective world and the subjective world, according to the Shastram, both are Mithya. Satya Anruta Bheda is there for dreamer in Swapna Drishta. Satya Anruta is Bheda is also there in the waking state. The dream state is different than the waking state. One is called as Atibhasika, which means it is a projection of the mind. The mind is the Karaka. What about the waking? In the waking world, it is Vyavahari. Vyavaharikam world is a projection of the law. That he is going to explain to us in the next few lines. He is going to explain to us. External world is Satyam. According to the Purva Pakshi, internal dream world is unreal Mithya. I understand. Okay, dream is Mithya. Okay, Purva Pakshi says I accept. But what about the external world, which I am seeing here in the waking state? Here we should understand that unless and until you wake up to the pure consciousness level, you can never say that the waking world is Mithya. Don't make this mistake anytime. That while you are experiencing the world, the world which we experience in the external, in the Jagrat Avastha, is a world which is not my projection. It is Ishvara's projection. In the waking, from the Turiya angle, the waking world is Mithya. What about the emotions which I have in the waking world? I have an anger, I have passion, I have love, I have sorrow, I have joy, I have fear. All these emotions are also Mithya. So the subjective emotions are Mithya, external world is Mithya. In the dream also, the subjective emotions are Mithya. The external world is also Mithya. Karika number 9 says, it is Mithya. Soon as I wake up, the dream world disappears. Therefore, it is Mithya. But what happens to the waking world? For a waker, waking world continues. Every day you wake up to the same world. You see the same city, you see the same people, and then for him it is the experience may be the same, but internally you have the knowledge that all this waking world is resolved in Turiya. That's Turiya is what super waker. It is a real and that super waker, according to the Veda, is the reality. It is Satya. So we have to get awakened to the Turiya, which is called as spiritual waking up. Unless you wake up to the Turiya level, you cannot say that the waking state is unreal. Don't make that mistake, because that is what everybody makes a mistake. Remaining in the waking state, we say that the waking world is Mithya. We have to raise ourselves to the pure consciousness level, which we understand when we meditate on Turiyam as our nature. And when the mind gets used to thinking about Turiyam as my nature by Nididhyasanam, then slowly what happens is that my own mind will start accepting the fact that waking state is Mithya. This is not an easy process. It is a slow process, spiritual growth, which happens to all the seekers. It is not an overnight, immediately you will listen to something and it becomes like, no, because it is the growth of the mind. The mind has to learn to drop itself, and then it has to see that Turiya. Okay, so that is the essence of this 9 and 10. Here, what in the Karika, in the Bhashyam, this is Shankaracharya's Bhashya. You can run through this in your own time, but what it means, I will explain to you. The dream is experienced like waking. We use the 5 sense organs and we experience the 5 sense objects even in dream also. So the waking state and dream state are very similar. You see the dream objects, and then you start building castles. In the sense, you start imagining. Oh, then the whole world is created in your mind. But when you're imagining things in your mind and the objects are seen, what happens? You feel as if you're experiencing a real in dream. You experience mountains, you experience green bodies, you meet people, so many things. You hear so many things, you experience. All this is with the help of 5 sense objects and 5 sense organs. In dreams, it is a different set of body which you get in dream compared to the physical body which is created by Ishvara. The experiencer of the dream world is ultimately Turiya. The light of consciousness, the observing principle, is common in all the 3 states. It is a fact which we come to know by learning the Upanishads. If you have understood the Swapna Prapancha, Gaudapadacharya says, exactly you try to copy the same thing in the Jagrat. I see real and unreal within dream. Inside the dream, whatever I'm experiencing outside my mind, I take it as real. Whatever I is experienced inside the mind, maybe it is unreal. But same thing happens in the waking state also. Whatever is experienced outside, that means the external world of trees and mountains and snow and all that, it is experienced. Only thing is it a real world or is it an unreal world is the question. In both this, there is something which is called as jnana adhyasa. What is the meaning of jnana adhyasa? Atma is self-existent, purely. It can never experience anything by itself. It will always remain pure consciousness. Anatma by nature is jada. Body is jada. The whole world is jada. By itself, it can never experience. Whenever there is a mixture of Atma and Atma together, then it gives rise to a waker or a dreamer or a sleep. So the properties of Atma I superimpose on the world of the body. The properties of the body I superimpose on the consciousness. Whenever the mind is projecting something, it is called as jnana dhyasa. That is, consciousness is there, and then you have thoughts. You say all these thoughts are my thoughts. That is what is called as adhyasa. This is jnana adhyasa, without the use of sense organs. When you use the sense organs with the mind, then you see the external world. So when you have sense objects, sense organs, and the mind, it is called as artha dhyasa. Artha means object. In both these cases, jnana adhyasa and artha dhyasa, what is the common thing? Both of them are adhyasa. Both of them are superimpositions. So a lot of these principles have to be understood when we are learning the Upanishads. And we are trying to understand the world in the way the Upanishad wants us to understand. If we understand the vision of Upanishads, ultimately, what is the phalam we get? Phalam is moksha. Now let's go to the Karika No.
जाग्रद्वृत्तावपि त्वन्तः जाग्रद्वृत्तावपि त्वन्तः चेतसा कल्पितं त्वसत् चेतसा कल्पितं त्वसत् बहिश्चेतो गृहीतं सत् बहिश्चेतो गृहीतं सद् युक्तं वैतथ्यमेतयोः युक्तं वैतथ्यमेतयोः.
So the last verse, number 9, Karika number 9, dealt with the dream world, the dream objects, and the dream thoughts. Internal dream emotions and external dream world. The 10th verse, it is exactly the same thing, but instead of the dream state, it is Jagrat state. So in the waking state, there are objects outside the mind and objects within the mind. Both of them are unreal, is the message in this mantra. In the previous mantra, the dream world was taken as an example. Within the mind, outside the mind, there was the dream world, the dream emotions. 10th mantra, it says, same thing is there in the waking also. There are waking objects outside the mind and there are emotions within them. There is, both of them are unreal because both of them are drishyam. You see, don't forget the word drishyam. We are using logic in the verses number 9 and 10. It is a Shruti logic. So 9 and 10 have got exactly the same words. In 9th Karika, Drishtam is used. In the 10th Karika, Yuktam is used. In the 9th, it is the Swapna Avastha. In the 10th, it is Jagrat Avastha. Swapna is quite easy to swallow, saying that it is unreal. The dreamer will find it difficult to say that it is unreal. Similarly, in waking also, the waker will have difficulty in saying that it is unreal. One has to wake up to the higher state. Kathopanishad says, Uttishtatha, Jagrata, Prapyavara, Nibodata. Nibodata means learn to rise to the level of your consciousness. This verse of Kathopanishad is very, very important. Don't try to remain in the same state and say it is unreal. Again and again, I'm repeating because this is the mistake which we make. My mind, whenever we say that it is the waking state is unreal, remember you have to stand on Turiya. Experienceability, transactability, utility. ETU. Remember this. It is common in both, in Swapna and in Jagrat. Because it is experience, you should not say it is unreal. Because there is transactions going on, you should not say it is not unreal. Because it has got a value, utility value. I have money in the bank. How can you say it is unreal? Yes, it is real, but it can be used only in the Jagrat Avastha. From a Turiya point of view, you are a consciousness. You are the observer principle. From that point of view, it doesn't have a reality. That's what it means. ETU, with the help of ETU, don't try to say it is real. The criterion for reality is Mithyatvam, Drishyam, Mithya. What is the criteria for Satyatvam? Satyatvam means anything which is an observing principle is Nityam. Consciousness is the observer of all the three states. Yatu Nityam to Satyam. Atma is Sat. In Tattvabodha, try to go back and understand try to learn Tattvabodha and see the meaning of Tattvabodha Atma definition for Sat, Chit and Anand. How is Sat described in Tattvabodha? Trikale api tishtati, it is what exists in three periods of time is Sat. It existed in the past, it exists now, it will exist in the future. What is that? It is pure consciousness, pure existence. What about the objects which are experienced, which are used for transactions, which have got value? The objects are impermanent. Therefore, it is called as Nityam. Shankaracharya's commentary here on the 10th verses. On waking up to Jagrat, Swapna becomes objective and subjective, and both are declared as unreal. On waking up to the Turiya Avastha, the Jagrat objective world and the Jagrat subjective world means my emotions. See, where is all the emotions you had 2 years ago, last week? It's there. Today, is it there? No, it's gone. Today's emotions. In the morning, I was fighting with my husband over some silly things. Evening, it's gone. It's not there. So, every experience we have in our Jagrat Avastha is a fleeting experience. Everything, it's momentary. You see, in that way, there is a Buddhist school of thought called as Shunyavada. What he says is everything which is experienced is fleeting. Every moment it's changing. So they also say that the world is unreal. We also, Advaitin also says the world is unreal. So in this aspect, the fleeting nature is very, very important for all the seekers to be aware of this fact. Jagrat and Swapna both are analyzed in many, many verses. To the 18th verse, this is going to be discussed. And this commonality between the two, we are going to see in the whole of second chapter. Mantra number 7 talked about Prapancha Upashamam, which we are discussing now in the second chapter. In the third chapter, we are going to discuss Advaita, another very, very important word. And both these words help us understand the Satyatvam of Turiyam and Mithyatvam of Jagat. Brahma Satyam, Turiyam Satyam, Jagat Mithya. That is the common statement of Shankaracharya. All the Upanishads are only trying to tell us that the observer, the observer, am real. Don't say there is nothing real in the world, because that is not correct. For every Mithya Vastu, like a rope snake, you need Adhishtanam, which is the rope. In this case, the Adhishtanam is Turiyam. For Mithyatvam, the primary source, the first source, the most important source is the Shruti. Shruti means the scriptures. The scriptures means this Prapancha Upashamam word which is used in the seventh. And the secondary source is reason. Like we are trying to compare dream and the waking. These are all reasoning. But this is not the primary source. Primary source is Pancha Upashamam, means Prapancha is Mithya. That is the main thing we should keep in mind. Now, is this Mithyatvam declared only in Mandukya Upanishad? No. Here I'm going to give you some mantras which are in other Upanishads for you to understand this Mithyatvam. Mandukya Upanishad says Prapancha Upasham. Kathopanishad says Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Neha Nanasti Kinchana means what? There is nothing in the universe which is real. Very, very powerful statement of Kathopanishad. But what's real then? Observer consciousness is real. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. 3 or 4 times in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this Neti Neti comes. What is the meaning of Neti Neti? This world which is experienced is Mithya. So Mithyatvam is there in almost every Upanishad, whether it is Kathopanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, every Upanishad. And through this Mithyatvam only, I try to understand what is Satyam. Satyam is Adhishthana. So this verse, Mandukya Upanishad verse, 7th verse is given here. The Kathopanishad, which verse is the 11th verse of the second chapter? Neha nanasti kinchana. By mind alone, I can realize this Atman. What do I realize? That I am Satyam, the world is Mithya. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the second chapter, 3rd section, 6th mantra. This is one of the mantras which says, not this, not this. Neti, neti. It comes 3-4 times. And then what is the name given to this Atma in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? It says Satyasya Satyam. Here it says in the end, second last line, Satyasya Satyam iti. Pranavai Satyam. Tesamesa Satyam. What is the meaning of this? Atma or Turiyam is the Satyam of Satyam. What is the meaning of this? When we see the world, we take this world as Satyam. Actually, it is what? It is Mithya. And what is Satyam? The observer consciousness is Satyam. That observer consciousness is given a title. In Mandukya, it is given as Turiya. In Brahdanika, it is given as Satyasya Satyam. Okay, these are some places where Mithyatvam is talked about. Then, another format which the Upanishad uses is Karanam and Karya. There are 4 Upanishads which I am going to quote. All of this are trying to tell us what? Karanam is Satyam, Karyam is Mithya. What are the 4 quotations? Very beautiful section. See, what are these are all you can only say when you have gone through different Upanishads. And then you're trying to understand the commonness in all the Upanishad and trying to make a conclusion. What is said in all the Upanishads? Taittiriya Upanishad, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, 2nd chapter. We have all done this. You all are aware of this. It gives the definition of the Karanam Brahma. Yato imani bhutani jayante. It tells us the world is Karyam, the world is a product. Kaivalya Upanishad, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, very famous verse of Kaivalya, 19th verse. Chandogya Upanishad, Sadeva Saumyam Idamakre Asi. In all these 4 mantras, what it says is Karanam is Satyam, Karyam is Mithya. Clay is Satyam, pot is Mithya. Gold is Satyam, chain, ring, bangle is Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa is temporary. I can convert the chain into gold. I can convert the ring into gold. I can convert the bangle into gold. So, therefore, the chain, ring, and bangle is nothing but it is a karya. That it is just another way of trying to understand the reality. These are the verses which I have quoted here. Yathova imani bhutani jayante. That from which the beings are born, that in which they sustain themselves, and where they really go when they depart, that is called as Brahman, which is called as Turiyam in Mandukya. Kaivalya Upanishad, same message. Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. That means everything is born from me, the Turiyam. Everything exists in me and everything comes back to me. When you say this, what happens? Karyam is Mithya, Karanam is Satya. Another language only. See, instead of saying Satyam and Mithya directly, in these mantras, it says Karanam is Satyam. Karanam existed before the world. That means what? Before this body was born, I was existing as this consciousness. When the body is born, I am existing as consciousness. When the body goes away, I will be existing as consciousness. Knowing this consciousness and claiming this consciousness as my swarupam is moksha. The plurality which we experience the body, the thoughts, the emotions, all this is experienced but is not real. The Shruti statements, they are valid only when I'm seeing the Mithya world. But without the world, what happens? That consciousness alone is. Therefore, we conclude that the waking state is a projection of Ishvara. See how beautifully the mantras they tell us how to analyze this world. We can negate the padartha, objects and beings which are inert, but we can never negate the consciousness. The consciousness can never be negated. You should be very clear in this. The second chapter reinforces that Jagat is Mithya. And also reasoning has been given why it is Mithya. Shruti is the primary reason. Swapna is the example taken for this Mithyatva. And two reasons were given, Drishyatvam, Anityatvam. The consciousness, Turiyam, am immortal. It is Nityastu. It is the eternal being. Normally, what we do, what is the mistake which we commit? Normal mistake is, I take the reality with reference to the body. I take myself as the body and say, I am born and I am not there. So our starting point is the body, but when we are trying to understand the Shruti, the starting point should not be the body, the starting point should be Chaitanya, Sat. Which is my Swarupa. Swarupa means what? Nature. What is the nature of the body? The nature of the body is impermanent. But nature of Satyam is immortality. Gaudapada Acharya says, this Mithyatvam is well known amongst the people who have known the Veda. And what is the mantra which he has quoted before, which we should remember? Adau antecha yam nasti. That which was not there in the past, not there in the future, the body and the world, even when I'm experiencing it, it is not there. It is only an observation. It is only a appearance. Purva Pakshi's view was a popular view. What is a popular view? Swapna is unreal because it disappears. Jagrat is real because it continues. But Karika number 9 and 10 says that Purva Pakshi is wrong because he is analyzing the world using double standards. He wakes up and says Mithya, dream is Mithya, but what Gaudapada Acharya says is, study Jagrat from waker's angle, study Swapna from dreamer's angle, both are real. Study Swapna from Jagrat angle, it is unreal. Study Jagrat from Turiya angle, it is unreal. Whether you experience inside or outside is immaterial, both in dream as well as in waking. Both inside and outside are Mithya. Whatever is imagined in the mind is Mithya. Therefore, we use the Shruti logic, Drishyatvam and Anityatvam, to prove that waking world is Mithya, dream world is Mithya. Inside and outside story, we should never bring it here because that will bring double standards. Okay, so this is the 9th and the 10th Karika. With this, we finished one volume of the Upanishad, which is the 7th volume. Now we are going to enter the 8th volume. The 8th volume goes from the 11th Karika to the 28th Karika. I have not circulated these notes so far. I thought I'll be able to just stop with the 10th mantra, but we have a few minutes. We can go to the next volume and then see some of the first Karika, which is the 11th Karika. Now, the 11th Karika, it is a questionable, means another Purva Pakshi. Okay, let us now just listen. Then next week we can just start with this. Next week we'll see how to elaborate this.
उभयोरपि वैतथ्यम् उभयोरपि वैतथ्यम् भेदानां स्थानयोर्यदि भेदानां स्थानयोर्यदि क एतान् बुध्यते भेदान् क एतान् बुध्यते भेदान् को वै तेषां विकल्पकः को वै तेषां विकल्पकः.
New Purva Pakshi comes and discusses the two states. What does he say? He says both the states of the dream and waking, if they are illusory, who is the creator of these imaginations? There must be a creator. You can't say there is no creator at all. If the unreality of the objects in both the states is there, who knows or experiences these objects? Who is the projector? Who is the maker? Who is the creator of all this? See, normally for the continuation of the topic, from Karika number 10, we should go to 14 and 15. Then there is a continuation. But here there is a gap where it's a side topic. So Purva Pakshi accepts our conclusion temporarily. He says, okay, fine. Jagrat and Swapna Prapancha both are Mithya. But there are two important questions he is raising with the Advaita. Who is the projector of Jagat? Who is the experiencer of Mithya Jagat? He says, according to the law, projector and experiencer must be outside the Mithya Prapancha. For example, I project rope snake upon rope. I am the projector experiencer different than the rope and the snake. Projector alone experiences the projected snake or the world. Now tell me, projector and experience must be outside the Mithya world or not? So for example, the dream world, the projector of the dream world is where he is outside. According to him, he says it is outside, it is the waker. Dream is projected by the waker. Waker is outside the dream world. Yes, he is comfortably lying in the bed. Waker and projector are different and outside the dream. This is Purva Pakshi's contention. What is our observation? The dream world, waking world, including the time and space, is Mithya. Time, space is Mithya. It is an appearance only. But we make such a big thing out of it. Purva Pakshi says, to our knowledge, we don't see any outsider. If Jagrat is Mithya, there should be an Adhishtanam, experiencer. So this is the question of the Purva Pakshi. This is now expanded by Shankaracharya in this message. What does Shankaracharya says? I accept Padharthas, that means objects and beings, are located in both Jagrat and Swapna. Mithya world is inside the mind, it is also outside the mind. In the case of Swapna, it is inside the mind. In the case of Jagrat, it is outside the mind. Who is the creator of both? Because if it is Mithya, we use the term Vikalpayate, projector. Adhishtanam must be outside the avastha. That outside the avastha is called as alambanam, adhishtanam. Shankaracharya says smruti is the alambanam for swapna, jnanam is the alambanam for jagrat. But for both of this, what is the alambanam? Otherwise, you cannot talk of swapna and jagrat. I went to sleep, I had a dream, I am awake now. But who is this I who went to sleep, who is awake now? Who is the projector of the three avasthas is this question of Purva Pakshi. First, you should understand the Purva Pakshi's question very clearly. I have to be consciousness of the three avasthas to relate to the knower or a sentient principle. There is one common principle which is Turiyam. This is Shankaracharya's answer. The Purva Pakshi wanted to know who is the projector, who is this, what is this I? It is the same I which experienced the dream, same I which experienced the waking, same I which went to sleep. Mantra number 7 says it is Nitya Mukta Atma, which is the experiencer. This alambanam, this substratum is ekarasaha, it is prajnana ghanam. Prajnana ghanam means what? It is pure consciousness. That is what is the alambanam. Alambanam means it is the bedrock on which these three states are coming and going. World does not originate from nothing, but world originates from Turiya Atma, Satchidananda Atma. Even for time and space, what is the Adhishtanam? I, the Atma. That I is pure. That is what we should try to take it as our Swarupa. If you take the I as the body, it is a mistake. This is the correction which the Upanishad wants to make in our intellect. All of us experience this I as pure consciousness in our sleep state, where there is no world. That is what Shankaracharya is trying to explain here in this mantra. That I is the substratum. We don't call it as a projector, we call it as a substratum. Normally, what we will think, in sleep, it is all emptiness. It is nothingness. You can't say nothingness is the substratum for the world which we experience. That is our normal reasoning. Who have not come to the Veda, people who have come to the Veda will say, Deham prana indriyani api chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. Dakshinamurti Stotra. Very beautiful sloka, the fifth mantra of Dakshinamurti. I have done this before, the meanings of this. What it says is, all this world which is experienced is a play of Turiyam with Maya Shakti. It is that inner Guru who awakens us to this knowledge of Adhishtanam. That Guru is Dakshinamurti, who takes us from the field of mortality to immortality. Asatoma Satgamaya. From Asat, I go to the Sat. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. From Tamas, I rise to the level of Jyoti, awaken to the Jyoti, which is Turiya. Mrityoma Amritangamaya. From Mrityam, from mortality, from the world of mortality, which is the Jagrat Avastha, which is the body, mind, everything in the world. Everything is Mrityam. I rise to Amritangamaya. Turiyam is Amritam, immortal. So, when you go to sleep, don't say it is Shunyam. That is called as Shunyavadi, or come to Advaita Atma and say, I am in my Swarupa Avastha. Then you are a Vedanta. This is a very, very important understanding of the entire world of experiences. And Dakshinamurti Stotram, very beautiful mantra, where it says that Guru who awakens me to this Turiya Avastha, which is my real nature, takes me from mortality to the immortality. He is that Dakshinamurti. Okay, so this is the 11th Karika which we finished. And who is the projector, who is the experiencer, is the question which is raised here. And the answer to that is Turiyam is the projector, Turiyam is the experiencer of all the three states. It is Turiyam which is pure consciousness, which when we say the word, what we say is Turiyam appears as the word. And then what do we say? We say the word resolves into Turiya. These are all very, very intense mantras with a lot of meaning in them. It requires mananam, and long mananam will result in longer nididhyasam. Nididhyasam, Shravanam helps me to understand the nature of Turiya. All these 10, 11 mantras we have done so far, slowly, I'm sure all of you are reasonably convinced that there is something called as Turiyam, which is my nature. It is invisible. That is the truth. Whenever I see the world, I should remember the Turiyam, because that is the Adhishthana. Mandukya Upanishad helps me to understand the world experienced is Drishyam, it is Anityam, it is Mithya. What is not experienced, but it is the experiencer, is Satyam, and it is Nitya, which is pure consciousness. Next week, we will start with the 12th Karika. All these are very beautiful messages. It takes time to absorb these truths, but it is possible. And once you absorb the reasoning like this, then only your intellect will get convinced. With this, I will stop here. And next week, we'll start with this 12th Karika. Oh. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I don't see anything in the chat box. In case you have any questions, you can raise your hand and you can ask them.
Namaste, Mohoday.
Yeah. Namaste, yes.
Yeah.
Shanta.
Yes. Now we're just making sure we can unmute ourselves. No question as such from me today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shanta. Thank you.
Because there was a lot to take in today.
Yeah, correct. It's a very intense session. We did 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 verses. And it's not easy to absorb these, but it takes time. Let it take time. You see, normally what happens is you just listen. This is called a shravanam. Then the next step is slowly you will start mananam in your own mind. It will happen automatically. Whenever it happens, let it happen. You don't have to push at all.
Yeah, no, because every time when, it is sort of like banging and then changing the standpoint. I think
Yes.
when you keep on hearing in different ways, in different
Yes,
examples, it
that's
just
correct.
keeps it in your mind all the time in different
That's
forms.
correct.
And then I think, one will click and
That's
then
correct.
it's,
Yes. So you have to be patient when it comes to Upanishadic study. Let it flower itself. Let the mind flower itself. No need to push. Oh, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. A lot of people, they become impatient and they leave the classes also. But very few people continue to listen because they know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is something which I'm going to really, really benefit from. And, spending 2, 3 hours in a week on this type of thing is useful. You're giving yourself an opportunity to grow. I mean, the Upanishads glorify this knowledge. They talk so much about this Atma Vidya again and again in so many Upanishads. And
just what you mentioned reminded me of chapter 13, one of the verse, millions, only thousands may come to this knowledge, and
correct,
only
yes,
few of them will actually attain and achieve me. So, or,
yes,
reach me.
yeah,
So our attempt is just to hold
correct.
on to and, get that knowledge
Yeah,
and
just
be
just
mukta.
keep listening. You see, that is the view. That is the view you should take as a seeker. Let me listen. Let me put my effort. There are so many things which is beyond our control. You know, especially when you hear that the whole world is Lord's projection, it is a totally different uh, vision of the world. Very, very different. And slowly that we are going to build up. That the whole thing it's a build up of verse by verse, verse by verse. And then slowly that thought percolates and then it grows. So that is the way this whole study is.
Yeah, I have started taking it in that way. And even when, say, I get hooked on to watching a YouTube video, I start asking myself, okay, what is that? What I have to understand from this, which is
That's correct.
actually, what is the purpose of me watching
Yes, correct. You
this
you
when
ask
I could have
yourself,
been, doing this? Why is this projected to me?
right. You see, I'm listening to so much things in the world about the world, and am I getting real benefit out of it, or just it is just a time pass? That okay, I pass my time. I can pass my time either reading a Upanishad book, or I can pass looking at the TV or YouTube on some vague things in the world. I mean, YouTube is full of things. Earlier, it used to be the TV. Now, everybody is hooked onto the YouTube. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much of variety in YouTube. It's amazing. Anyway, this is God's creation. The way I look at it is,
But
it
I
is
think
still,
we have nothing is coincidental.
yeah.
So
And
we have to just take it.
Nandu has put up a beautiful verse from the 7th chapter, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. So among the millions, this is the verse you were referring to.
Yes. Oh, it was not the 13th, it was the 7th, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I learned 7, 9, and 13 together.
Yeah.
So I
So
got
this
a
is
bit
the
confused.
7th
Yeah.
month, chapter,
Thanks.
3rd verse. Hindu is so beautiful. He's got everything in his fingertips. You know, he's like a mini computer. Good. Anybody else has any other remarks in today's session? Okay, if there's nothing, then we'll continue next week. And thank you and namaste.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaste.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om,
Hari Om,
Shakshi.
Namaste.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Suna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Shakshi.
Bharat, you're there wrong.
Yeah, very, very good session, sir. Very, very good.
Okay.
Very good. Superb. Just going through it, listening to everything.
Yeah.
It's the what is incredible is that, if I might say, it's the understanding that the experience and the knowledge of an object is that Atma. So even the thought is an object. It's there to be viewed and experienced, and that object of a thought, even knowledge of the world, cannot be there if Atma is not there.
Yes. That's right.
It just cannot be.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you,
It's
sir.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah, and I think I was catching up on some of the previous lectures. I apologize, I missed. But something that you said resonated about samatvam, whether good or bad, it's all well. I think that resonated very strongly.
Yeah. You see, this word samatvam is a very, very, very important word in Bhagavad Gita. You know, about 20 times Lord Krishna mentions samatvam, samatvam, samatvam. But how do you get this samatvam? Samatvam you get only by getting the knowledge of Atman. You stand on
exactly.
Atman, then it's possible to have equipoise of the mind.
Yes, and that equipoise has to be there in order to have samatvam. In order to understand samatvam, you have to be samatvam in the first place.
Yes. I mean, it's a beautiful word, and it can be a goal for all of us.
Exactly, and I'm very, like, with this Jnana Vidya, it is a joy, and I can't help but recall Turiya Upanishad, that the joy, the ananda is of the Atma.
Correct.
So what you're enjoying is your own joy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Shakaji. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat. And whenever you have the time, please send me the next volume.
Yes, they're almost complete. Almost
Okay.
complete.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye.